Hello everyone, we got another trade update video. This one happened back over on Friday just before the trade deadline, and it was a blockbuster. We'll touch on the Schenn trade coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another end-to-end hockey trade update video. Once again, if you haven't already, leave a like down below and leave a subscribe. We're on the road to 650 subscribers, hopefully in the very near future. So if you can, leave a subscribe down below. It really does help with the channel and lets YouTube know you guys like this sort of content. And on top of that, don't forget to check out my live stream under the live tab on my YouTube channel. I did it on Friday for the trade deadline. I think you guys would really like it. So if you can, check it out. It really does help with the channel as well. But in today's video, we have another trade update video. This is just going to be one trade that I'm going to talk about here today, and it was a huge one. This is one between the St. Louis Blues and the New York Islanders. The full trade was as follows. The New York Islanders acquired Schenn from the St. Louis Blues in exchange for Jonathan Drouin, Marcus Gidlof, the Avalanche's 2026 first round pick, and the Devils' 2026 third round pick. So a very interesting swap here between the Islanders and the Blues. We'll start with this from the Islanders side. They had an extra first round pick because of the Brock Nelson deal last year, so they didn't need two picks, especially with them being in a playoff spot. So I don't think it hurts them to move off a first round pick. They had an extra third round pick because of the Andre Palat deal earlier in the year, so they can move off the Devils' third round pick. Gidlof looks like a good prospect, so yeah, it does hurt to give up that. And Drouin hadn't been fitting in overly well with the New York Islanders team, so yeah, they had to move off of him. But they get Schenn. He's a center/left winger, but mostly a center. He's 34 years old. He's got this year plus 2 more seasons on his contract at $6.5 million cap hit. This year with the St. Louis Blues, put 12 goals and 28 points in 61 games. Was a very productive player for the St. Louis Blues. So all in all, this is really a pickup here for the Islanders. Like, you put Schenn as your second line center. You have Barzal Horvat as your 1C. You have Pajot as your 3C, and you have Cizikas as your 4C. You are set down the middle. I think they also signed Pajot on Friday to a contract extension. So, like, they are set down the middle for the next couple of years. And that's not even including a guy like Cal Murchie, who is usually a center. Who's probably going to play in the wing, my guess would be now. So, like, the Islanders are deep on the forward group, and adding Schenn just drastically improved it. So, I think they put him on the second line. I think they put him maybe with a couple of other wingers. Not sure who they'd be. Maybe a guy like Duclair or Holmstrom or something like that. And I think this could be a really solid addition here for the Islanders, and definitely does help them for this playoff push, but only for now, because he's signed for 2 more seasons beyond this year as well. So this is a move that helps the Islanders both now and in the future. I think the ask was all right given where the Islanders are in the standings, and I do think this is going to potentially give the Islanders the best 1-4 down the middle in the entire NHL, or at the very least, one of the best in the Eastern Conference. So very interesting note there. When it comes to the Blues, just like with the Falk deal, they were trying to move off some veterans, so they were able to get rid of the Schenn contract, didn't have to retain any money on him, and they were able to get a couple of really solid pieces. So they got the Devils' 2026 third round pick. With the way the Devils are playing right now, it's probably going to be a third round pick that's in the top half of the draft, because it doesn't look like the Devils are going to make the playoffs this year. So I definitely do expect the Devils pick to be in the top 16 of the draft. At this year's draft, the Avalanche's pick is going to be probably a very late first round pick. I know a lot of people have the Avalanche being their cup favorites, so a lot of people probably have that pick going to 32. I don't see the Avs going to the Stanley Cup final, but even if they don't, or even if they don't make it to the conference final, then that pick's probably going to be 27. So either way, it's going to be a very late first round pick for the St. Louis Blues, but it's another first round pick nonetheless. They also get prospect Marcus Gidlof. He's 20 years old. He's a goalie prospect. He was a 5th round pick 2 years ago in the 2024 draft, currently playing over in the SHL, whereas a 2.85 GAA, 895 save percentage in 25 games. So not half bad. Gidlof still a little bit young to determine what he could be in the future, but I do think if he continues his development correctly, he could eventually maybe be like a solid backup, maybe 1B, maybe tandem goaltender for the St. Louis Blues. So it's going to take him a couple of years, but maybe they got an under the radar sort of goaltending prospect here in Gidlof, who could eventually be a solid like tandem goaltender. So that could be a pretty good pickup here for the Blues. And they also get Jonathan Drouin, who's in the first year of a 2-year contract he signed in the offseason with an AAV of $4 million. He's a left winger/center. He's 30 years old, hasn't had the greatest of seasons in the Islanders organization, having 3 goals and 21 points in 55 games. Not terribly bad, but just not as productive as he was last year with the Avalanche, and has been healthy scratched on occasion. So this is a really good pickup here for the Blues, because I do think Drouin can help replace some of the losses this team made trade just before the trade deadline, help them for the rest of this year, and then they could potentially flip him in the offseason or at the trade deadline next year if they're bad again. And I think that could be a really solid pickup here. So I don't expect St. Louis to hold on to Drouin long term, but I do think he could be flipped at a later date. So very interesting note there. I like this deal for both sides. For the Islanders, they get a center that makes their center group extremely nasty, and for the Blues, they get a player who they could potentially flip later on, a young goalie prospect who might eventually amount to something, a first-round pick in this year's draft, and a third-round pick in this year's draft that could really help a rebuilding team like the St. Louis Blues. So definitely have your guys' thoughts on all of this down in the comment section below. Who do you guys think won this deal? Was it the Islanders, was it the Blues, or was it a win-win deal? Let your guys' thoughts down below. That's all I'm going to talk about in this video. Stay tuned for more coming on in the very near future. Once again, if you haven't already, like this video and subscribe below. We're trying to hit 650 in the very near future. We're only a few away, so if you can, leave a subscribe. It really does help with the channel. Also, don't forget to check out my live stream under the live tab on my YouTube channel. I think you guys really like it. We did a live stream back over on Friday, so if you can, check it out. And that's all I'm going to talk about this video. God bless y'all. I'll see you on the next one.